Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on the last leg of his five-nation visit, received ceremonial reception at the State House in Namibia, welcomed with a 21-gun salute. Prime Minister Modi holds delegation-level talks with the President of Namibia. 4 MOUs signed. PM Modi emphasizes on nuclear cooperation among other sectors. And in Wimbledon, world number 1 Yannick Sinner eyes semi-final berth as he faces Ben Shelton in the quarterfinals. After concluding a successful Brazil visit, Prime Minister Modi visits Namibia in the final leg of his five-nation visit. Upon his arrival at the State House, PM Modi was accorded a ceremonial welcome and received a 21-gun salute in Namibia. This is the first visit of Prime Minister to Namibia and the third ever Prime Ministerial visit from India to Namibia. Namibia is a valued and trusted African partner with whom India seeks to boost bilateral cooperation. Later, Prime Minister Modi signed the Visitors' Book, marking a significant moment of India-Namibia camaraderie. Prime Minister was greeted by Namibian officials. PM Modi also exchanged warm handshake with Namibian President, symbolizing strong bilateral ties between the two nations. And Prime Minister Modi held high-level delegation talks with Namibian President Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah in Windhoek, focusing on deepening India-Namibia ties. The discussions covered cooperation in energy, health, education and digital technology, aiming to bolster bilateral partnerships. In her address, the Namibian president lauded India-Namibia ties, focusing on the capacity of both the countries in expanding trade and investment cooperation. She highlighted areas of cooperation among the two countries, including green hydrogen, mining and value addition, oil and gas infrastructure development, food security and tourism development. Her address was followed by PM Modi's address, in which he highlighted cooperation in civil, nuclear and petroleum sector and said that both the countries agree on promoting further trade and investment. And 4 significant MOUs were signed to strengthen bilateral ties between India and Namibia. These include the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure Framework, Agreement to enhance infrastructure resilience, the Global Biofuels Alliance Framework, Agreement to promote sustainable energy, an MOU for establishing an entrepreneurship development center to foster innovation, and an agreement on cooperation in health and medicine to advance healthcare collaboration. These MOUs reflect India and Namibia's commitment to sustainable development and mutual growth. Earlier, PM Modi received a grand welcome by the Indian diaspora as he arrived at the State Guest House in Windhoek. The special welcome by the Indian community in Namibia reflected extreme optimism about closer India-Namibia friendship. They have retained a connect with their culture and traditions. The Indian diaspora was filled with enthusiasm as they met the Prime Minister. Some shared their experience of meeting Prime Minister Modi. Let's listen in.
The experience was excellent. We were just here meeting his parents, and now we have met the great Prime Minister of India. So we had a really great experience, and Jai Hind.
It was really a very surreal experience. He took my poster and he really focused on the poem. I really liked that about him, and it was like a very dream come true moment for me.
It was a lovely feeling after meeting Modi ji. I never had imagined कि किसी Prime Minister से मिलके इतना ज़्यादा अच्छा लगेगा, because it is a whole different energy, and the charisma that he carries, it's absolutely fantastic.
I liked it very much, and we are really fortunate to meet him here, and हमें काफी अच्छा लगा.
India's development partnership with Namibia is not just about trade and diplomacy, it's about sharing skills and knowledge. At the University of Namibia in Windhoek, a center of excellence in IT set up with Indian support is equipping young Namibians with the tools of the digital age. A report.
Capacity building play a crucial role when it comes to ties between two countries. I'm here in Namibia, in front of India-Namibia Center for Excellence in the field of information and technology. This center is established with the assistance by the Government of India, where hundreds of students have already been trained in the field of IT, and many of them are already enrolled to learn new skills, to burnish their skills, and to fulfill the vision of Namibian government of e-governance and digital empowerment.
This center offers training in areas like software development, cybersecurity, and web design, all aimed at giving Namibian youth a competitive edge in the technology-driven world.
All these programs were set up with the assistance of the Indian government through SIDEC, because we basically implemented our programs in collaboration with SIDEC in Pune.
This is a very good collaboration with the Indian government to assist the Namibian government with ICT education.
The center is not just about building skills, it also creates opportunities for students from all walks of life to access quality IT training. It's part of India's focus on development that indirectly benefits people on the ground.
This center, we call it as India-Namibia Center of Excellence in Information Technology, which is established at Namibia University of Science and Technology under the bilateral agreement between Government of India and Government of Namibia. The main aim of this center is capacity building in Namibia, and also to boost the research capacity in Namibia. So using these capacity sector, we offer a few programs here. Many of the students, like I would say 500 plus students have been trained, and those are basically working professionals. We are assisting ministries and the government offices. They used to come here and upskill their knowledge.
How do you see the future of the center as more and more students they enroll in the center to learn in the field of IT?
I would say very, very important contribution from Government of India, as well as, in assisting the Government of Namibia to build the capacity in Namibia. So definitely center will fly, and we will work and assist as much as possible.
So we got to know that the India-Namibia Center of Excellence in Information Technology is not just a center. It's a vision where Namibians, youths and working professionals are being trained to work in the field of IT and also to burnish their skills, and which exactly is the demand of the future. With camera person Alok, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for TD India in Namibia.
Well, economic ties between India and Namibia continue to grow steadily. We take you inside a diamond processing unit run by an Indian company that's training and employing Namibians on the ground.
I am at Ankit Gems here in Namibia, the oldest factory of diamond cutting and polishing set up by an Indian. And just ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit, this facility is a clear example of how Indian investment is adding value locally and also strengthening the economic ties between the two countries.
Ankit Gems brought a game-changing model to Namibia's diamond sector. Process locally, employ locally. Today, Hundreds of Namibians work here, many trained in high-precision diamond cutting. The Indian company's presence supports Namibia's long-standing vision, retain more value from its natural resources, and provide long-term employment to its citizens.
We are very happy here polishing diamonds, so it's been a really good experience.
I've been working as an export and import operator. Then now I'm doing traceability so that every stone that anybody from outside buys, they are able to trace it on our traceability and see from rough to finished polishing.
We are employed 130 people, Namibian, and we are teaching them and then employed because there is no institute for diamond and anything. And we are looking forward better from government as well.
Namibia is among the world's top producers of gem quality diamonds. India, meanwhile, is the global hub for cutting and polishing. Together, the two countries are creating a win-win partnership where Namibia moves up the value chain and India contributes through technology, training and trust.
Ventures like Ankit Gems reflect a deeper story of growing India-Namibia partnership, which is creating jobs, generating employment, and a promising future. With camera person Alok, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in Namibia.
We are slipping into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India Live. PIB fact check reveals truth behind fake video of former RBI governor on investment scheme getting viral. India's Jyoti Venom and Rishabh Yadav break world record in mixed compound archery at World Cup Stage 4.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and
Narendra Modi laid wreath at the Heroes' Acre, the war memorial of the Republic of Namibia, to honor, pay homage and respect to the spirits of Namibia's freedom fighters. He arrived at Heroes' Acre in Windhoek, paying tribute to Namibia's freedom fighters with a solemn wreath-laying ceremony. This is the first visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Namibia in nearly 3 decades, 27 years to be precise, and the moment at Heroes' Acre was both symbolic. It marks the start of a high-level dialogue aimed at boosting cooperation in areas like trade, mining, digital payments, education. Prime Minister Narendra Modi laying wreath at Heroes' Acre, the war memorial of the Republic of Namibia, to honor, pay homage and respect to the spirits of Namibia's freedom fighters. So the memorial, dedicated to the country's liberation struggle, holds deep historical significance, and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's gesture underscores India's shared legacy with Namibia in the fight against colonialism. So we are getting you these visuals from Windhoek in Namibia. Last leg of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the five-nation tour. He's at the Heroes Acre at Windhoek, where laying wreath at the Heroes Acre, the war memorial of the Republic of Namibia, to pay homage and respect to the spirits of Namibia's freedom fighters. India's long-standing support for Namibia's independence. You can see in the visuals Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Heroes Acre at Windhoek in Namibia. Moving on, in Indian Air Force Jaguar trainer aircraft crashed during a routine training mission near Churu in the Indian state of Rajasthan on Wednesday, resulting in the fatal injuries of both pilots on board. No civilian casualties or property damage were reported from the crash site. The Indian Air Force expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives and extended heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families. A court of inquiry has been ordered to determine the cause of the accident. Case of misuse of AI was also reported from India. A video purportedly showing former RBI Governor and current Principal Secretary to the Prime Minister Shaktikant Das endorsing an investment platform is going viral on social media. The manipulated clip claims that by investing just 21,000 individuals can earn 1 million every month. The 57-second video appears to show Shaktikant Das speaking positively about the scheme during an interview, claiming the platform is supported by the Government of India, the Union Council of Ministers and the RBI. However, the Press Information Bureau has confirmed the video is digitally manipulated and completely fake. According to the PIB fact-check team, neither the RBI nor any government authority has launched or approved such a scheme. US President Donald Trump announced plans for a 50% duty on copper imports a day after the White House sent letters to Japan, South Korea and other countries about tariffs to kick in August 1st. Trump also said he is planning to impose tariffs on imported semiconductors and pharmaceuticals, with medicine tariffs potentially reaching 200%. However, he said drug makers would be given about a year to get their act together. Reiterating his threat of a 10% tariff on BRICS, Trump said the bloc was not a serious grouping, but acknowledged that it is challenging the US dollar.
Ones we did steel, as you know, they're 50%. We did aluminum, 50%. Lumber just came out.
Why don't you announce copper?
And we did cars. And now today we're doing copper.
Copper and lumber. What would that tariff be on? The sectional tariff?
I believe the tariff on copper, we're going to make it 50%.
50%.
After Trump spoke, U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said the copper tariffs would likely be put in place by the end of July or August 1st. Lutnick added the investigations on copper under Section 232 are complete and the observations have been submitted to the President. The deadline for the investigation to conclude is in November.
As you know, since February, the United States has imposed tariffs on 70% of total EU trade with the United States. The scale and the scope of these measures is unprecedented. So our line has to be very clear. We will be firm. We do prefer a negotiated solution. This is why we're working closely with the US administration to get an agreement. And I had a good exchange with President Trump earlier this week to help move things forward. We're looking for a reliable framework from which we can keep building our common trade. So the message is clear. We stick to our principles. We defend our interests. We continue the work in good faith, and we get ready for all scenarios. We will, of course, keep this House informed. Honourable members, the reason why we're working day and night to find a solution is because we believe tariffs are bad for business.
And EU and US talks are ongoing in a bid to secure a trade deal, as the US is warning its trading partners to negotiating new agreements or face higher import taxes by August 1st, the latest deadline in President Donald Trump's implementation of reciprocal tariffs. DW correspondent Thomas Sparrow joins me now from Berlin. Good to have you, Thomas. What is the EU strategy to deal with Donald Trump's tariffs?
Well, you heard it there from Ursula von der Leyen, so the President of the European Commission, stressing that on the one hand, there are reciprocal measures at hand. They do not necessarily need to be implemented, but that comes hand in hand with negotiations with the US administration. And we heard today from Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz, so the head of government here in Germany, that it is expected that that trade deal could be ended, could be finalized by the end of July. He said he was cautiously optimistic that that would be the case. The goal from the European Union's perspective would be to reduce tariffs as much as possible, also maybe to get exemptions for specific parts of the economy. But obviously, what's important also from a European perspective is to make sure that the impact on European economies is as low as possible. In other words, that European economies can end up developing and building forward despite the agreement, despite potential tariffs. In addition to that, and this is also something relevant, European institutions have signaled that they're interested in reducing reliance towards the United States, reducing dependency towards the United States. And what that means in practical terms is trying to strengthen trade relationships with other parts of the world.
Also, how concerned are European leaders about the potential economic impact of these trade disputes?
It's not only European leaders that are concerned, also European citizens are particularly concerned. Now, European leaders have signaled time and time again that they do not believe that tariffs, reciprocal tariffs in that case, are actually the way forward, especially for two countries or regions, the European Union and the United States, that actually have benefited in the past from free trade. So that is not something that they want to see. And they do not want to see that because there could also be concrete impacts of these tariffs conflicts on European citizens and especially on national economies. So European citizens are especially worried about possible price increase, job losses, problems when it comes to economic growth. So very concrete measures when it comes to the development of European economies. And that's the reason why there is concern. At the same time, obviously, there is hope that a deal can be agreed so as to reduce the potential negative impact of any tariffs that are imposed.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for those updates, Thomas. Wimbledon updates now. Defending champion Carlos Alcaraz produced a centre court masterclass to reach his third straight Wimbledon semi-final after a patchy run to the last 8. The Spanish second seed rediscovered top form to set up a semi-final clash with American fifth seed Taylor Fritz. Meanwhile, Taylor Fritz defeated Karen Khachanov to reach his first Wimbledon semi-finals. In women's singles, world number 1 Aryna Sabalenka survived a scare to reach the Wimbledon semi-finals with a hard-fought victory over Germany's Laura Siegemund. All right, now we'll take you across to Namibia. Once again, Prime Minister Narendra Modi laying a wreath at Heroes Acre, the war memorial of the Republic of Namibia, to honor, pay homage and respect to the spirits of Namibia's freedom fighters. You can see in the visuals Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Windhoek in Namibia laying wreath at the Heroes Acre, the war memorial, paying tribute to Namibia's freedom fighters with a solemn wreath laying ceremony. Talking about the memorial, it is dedicated to the country's liberation struggle, holds deep historical significance, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's gesture underscores India's shared legacy with Namibia in the fight against colonialism.